Oh, we're back. Welcome to the channel. My name is John. Call sign Kilo 5 Golf Tango and or the Dutch Ham. And we're back in the last episode, the last 10 questions in the Dutch F exam. Again, not sure what year or what date this exam was given, or if it's just a generated exam based on a question pool of a certain year. I'm not really sure about that. But if you refresh this page, you get a complete new exam in front of you. So if you want to test yourself, the translation can be a little bit tricky with Google. And if you want to stop between sessions, don't refresh the page, don't close the page, because you have to start over again. But let's continue. In the circuit, the resistor R is replaced by a resistor with twice the value. The coil L and capacitor C are lossless. That brings me back to the question of last time. I think the higher because last time I said that it became twice as big, but now I start to doubt. Because that was question this one. So the resistance was halved. So I think this is getting twice as small because the resistance will have more effect on the circuit. So I'll change that to small. And here's 41. The value becomes twice as big, so it has less effect on the resonant part. So I'll say it becomes twice as big. The LC oscillator does not appear to be working. The DC voltage is measured at several points. The values are in the diagram. So on the collector we have 10 volts, but on the emitter we have 0 volts. And the options are R2 is interrupted. That cannot be because then the emitter will be floating. And now it is grounded by R2. L1 is shorted. I guess that's also doesn't make sense because L1 for DC current shouldn't have to be for DC it shouldn't have to be too much of an effect. L2 is interrupted. I go for C3 is shorted because that pulls down the transistor from its working spot. R2 will ground the emitter to ground. Yeah, I will go for answer D. To adapt a low impedance antenna to a high impedance feed line, a stop is used. What is right? think it needs to be shorted, and I will go for a quarter wave. And yep, I will go for a quarter wave and the end of the stop shorted. Don't ask me why, but that's what I go for. Half a wavelength does make sense, because I know it's a quarter wavelength for the stop, because that's also how we could tune a low antenna impedance to a high impedance. I think an 8 will be too short. I started to doubt now. I will just go for, I stay with the answer, so quarter lambda and A shorted. Okay, here the translation is going sideways again. The value Rx is, and here they say the meter points to in position 1 10 volts, position 2 5 volts, and position 3 2.5 volts. So if in position 1 we have 10 volts, then I would say that the internal resistance of the meter will be 60k. So I think I will go for A. Does that make sense? 60, 60, 60, 180. So 1, 2, 3. Yeah, 20 or 30k don't make sense, I think, because then so with answer C and D, the voltage would be between 10 and 5 volts. So it's either answer A or B. $16.90, so this is 2/3. 6180 also does make sense. Then we get a that's 4. Yeah. Stay with 180 because then you have 1 to 4 voltage divider. So yeah. In a single sideband transmitter, this high sideband is generated at a carrier frequency of 500 kilohertz. The carrier transmission frequency is 3700 kilohertz. Where the low sideband must be transmitted. The oscillator frequency is... Pooh. That's either C or D. B doesn't make sense because you get... Oh, it is C. No, it is D. Because then you subtract it from the 4200, then you come out. Yeah. Because you get a product of the two on the plus side and on the minus side. And this one is on the minus side, so yeah. Because this is the input, so it has to be subtracted from the carrier frequency to get the lower sideband. So yeah, go for answer D. The polarization direction of a radio wave is primarily determined by the receiving antenna. Is always parallel to the Earth. No. It's primarily determined by the transmitting antenna. All the other questions don't really make sense. Because the receiving antenna doesn't have any influence on the transmitter. And it's always parallel to the Earth, also not true, because for HF, after a skywave reflects from one of the layers, the polarization can be completely different than what was the originating polarization. So also it's also not always been perpendicular to the Earth. It's also not true. So I go for answer C. The no-load output voltages U1 and U2 are approximately this is single side rectified and this is double side rectified. So I will go for this one, I guess. Well, for answer A. Because they because here you have just one pulse and here you have a double pulse, so that's why I make that one 140 and this one 100. Again, it's been more than 40 years ago that I did those kind of calculations. So the voltage between point X and Y is they are in series. So we have 12 ohms, so we get a current of we have 6 volts, so we get half an amp. So there's 4 volts. Maybe 0 volt then. Half an amp, so this one also, I think it is 0 volts, because over the resistor we get half an amp times 8 ohms is also 4 volts, voltage drop. Okay, 49. The word export is spelled correctly to the prescribed spelling alphabet S. I guess this is also I guess this is also messed up because of the translation. Can I turn the... Okay, this makes more sense. Why the hell are they translating echo as ultrasound? So the word is correct. So for ultrasound we have to read echo somehow. This translated. So then it is Echo, X-ray, Papa, Oscar, Romeo, Tango. So answer C. But yeah, for that Google Translate is messing that question up. Okay, well, how are we doing on the time? 20 minutes. Ooh. Which figure represents an end-fed half-wave antenna? No, this is off-center fed. This is a dipole. This also doesn't make sense because this will also be transmitting, so I'll go for figure 2. Okay, and that was the last question. So now 20 minutes. Should I do the grading now? Yeah, I will do the grading now. So just say, check my exam. And let's scroll up. Ooh, I see red. Do I see too much? Do I see too much red? So here they probably also calculated the angle. in another exam they didn't calculate the angle between the resistor and the capacitor. And then they said it was just to count it up. So this should have been was 400 ohms, eh? So 300. Oh, let me use the calculator again. It's quicker. Oh. 300 squared plus 400 squared is, so it's answer A, 500. So this should have been answer A instead of D. This I said in a different exam. They just counted them up. Then they didn't pay attention to the angle between the resistor and the capacitance. Okay, that one was correct. The skip distance is 0. So let me turn the questions. So 2 questions wrong. That one I had correct. First, let's count the errors that I have. So here I was doing pretty good. Okay. 3 wrong. 4. 5. 6. 7. 8. 9. 10. So I would have passed this exam. 10 wrong. Okay, let's look at the questions that I had wrong. Let me write down the numbers. No, for the first one we already know that is the 500 ohms. So it was 2, 5, 28, 30, 32, 33, 40. Is it the transistor then? 40, 41, 43, 47, that was the last one, I think. Yeah. Okay, so answer 2 was A indeed. 5 was D. 28 was D. 30 was D. 32 was D. 33 was D. 40 was undefined. So they probably made a mistake there. 41 was D. 43 was C. And 47 was also D. A lot of these is in my wrong answers. So let's go back to the start again. Now this one we already calculated. It's was 500 is still in the calculator, so that was answer A. The skip distance is 0 when the transmission frequency is lower than the The skip distance is 0 when the transmission frequency is lower than the critical. I have to look into that, because I would say that if it is lower than the critical, then you still would have skybounds and not. But okay, then the next was 28. And that was also answer D, 4 watts. Doesn't make sense. No, otherwise I will just go through the questions and correct them. Did I make it with the previous one? Then I will make a different episode, so there was lower, because there was also D. So they answered 30, question 30. That was also answer D. And I can make another episode where I do a little bit more research. Okay. So, and according to them, this was also D. I guess they just calculated 36 ohms. You're not completely resonant, so okay, 33 was also D, they said. So I corrected that wrong. So I should have kept my answer. But I started doubting when I came to the other question, 41. And why was 40? Okay, so 40 was undefined. I have to look it up. Do a Google search on that, see if something comes up. So 41 was also D, so I should have changed it. And this was all, this 43. So it was quarter wavelength, but open at the end. Then the last question that I had wrong was 47. And they said also answer D. Okay, it's 100 volt effective. So the so it will charge the capacitor to a square wave of 100. For square wave 2, or square 2 times 100 is 140 volts. And here it will same, only the capacitor will be charged sooner than in the other case. So that makes sense. It's both 140 volts. Okay, it's already half an hour again. So I will make another episode where I go through the questions that I had wrong and try to give an explanation why it was wrong and why it should be the answer that they gave. They probably are correct, but just to make some clarification. Okay, hope you like this one. I did pass, so I can try to, and without too much studying, so not too bad. I did better than I did 40 years ago. Okay, thank you for watching. See you next time in the next video, 7.3, and please like and subscribe. See you next time in the next video. Bye-bye.